Salvete omnes. We got one more declension to do here, and I have here it's an irregular noun, but a better word might be to say it's a defective noun. It doesn't exactly follow a declension, but for the most part it's very similar to third declension. The verb is wis, and I think it's a long I actually. So wis, okay? And it means force or violence. It's a really important word, especially in the immediate. You're going to see this a lot. And so knowing that it's a little irregular is helpful. It also easily can get confused with the noun vir, which means man in Latin, because some of the forms look like they could be almost the same, and you're going to see why. So in the nominative, force or violence, and often in a negative connotation, wis. The nominative is vis, and the plural is vires. So you can see that R in there, that makes you think we're man, but it doesn't mean man. This means like violences, forces here. What would we're in plural would be witty, right? So witty is a second declension. It has an I. This has an es at the end. So this does not mean men. This means forces. Okay. So that's a big distinction there. A lot of people get confused on that. Now it doesn't really have a genitive or a dative form, so at least not one that appears. If it did, it would probably be like this. It'd be wis. That's why I have that up there. And then it would probably be we following the third declension up here. But if you look at a grammar book, these forms don't appear. Okay. The genitive plural is virium. It's got that like third declension. Witium. The accusative is, this appears a lot, whim. Very important. Whim. And then the accusative plural is just like the nominative, vires. And then the ablative is we. Okay, magna vi, with great force. Magna vi. Very common expression. And then viribus. Oh, I didn't give you the dative. That's also viribus, sorry. Remember, dative and ablative plurals are always the same, and these follow third declension with the ibus. So if we want to go over our endings here, virium, viribus, and ace and ibus for all the plurals, and then whim and we. Notice ablative, again, ending in a vowel, like it normally does, and accusative ending in an M in the singular. So those rules do hold for this. They're very similar to third, but obviously they're not exactly the same, because it's not wem, it's whim. That sounds a lot better than saying wem. Overall patterns to watch for. Now this is on the page where I did the neuters, okay? Overall patterns to watch for here, just a couple notes. Second declension nominative and accusative singulars. Second declension nominative and accusative singulars. And they're always always the same. That throws people off because that usually looks like an accusative, but if it's a neuter noun, it's a subject. Second declension nominative and accusative plurals, what do they always end in? Dona and dona. They always end in a, and they're always the same. There's no exceptions. Third declension nominative and accusative singulars. Here we go, litus. It just depends on what the nominative. Whatever the nominative is, the accusative looks just like it. So we're just going to say the same. They don't necessarily end in Litus ends in us, so its accusative ends in us. And that can throw you off because you might think, oh, us means nominative, but not for this one. Neuters don't really follow the same rules. And third declension and nominative accusative plurals, they're just like second declension. They end in a, and they're always the same. And then dative plurals, as always, are like ablative plurals. They're is or ibus. I think that's what I meant there. Is or ibus, always the same. So that's wraps up the neuters, and then also this defective noun VIS, which often is confused with wir. Don't let it confuse you. This is the difference. And that's it. Walete.